Hi, everyone. We are back with a special workshop webinar today because search has been invaded by generative AI and everybody wants to know what, if anything, they should be changing about their brand visibility auditing workflows. So we've got the fantastic Lily Grozeva, I hope I said that okay, to share her AI search auditing process with us. My name is Jojo. I'm the marketing manager at SiteBulb. Patrick, who is the co founder and CEO, he is in the chat. So feel free to say hi to him, Lily, and each other there. If you aren't familiar with SiteBulb, it's a website auditing and crawling tool. We're the only crawler on the market to offer desktop-based software and a web-based or cloud product. So that means our tool can help every SEO from solo freelancers all the way up to global enterprise brands. You can try our desktop crawler for free to see how it's different for yourself. Just head to sitebulb.com/download to access the free trial. SiteBulb Cloud is, in essence, the same tool, but accessible via your web browser. It's way more affordable than the other enterprise scale crawlers out there. Sorry, not sorry. If you want to find out more about that or book a demo, head to sitebulb.com/cloud. Both of those links are pinned in the chat. Final bits of housekeeping and we can start. So the webinar is being recorded and the recording will be emailed out tomorrow as usual. Do not worry if you cannot make it for the whole thing. And we will have some time at the end of the webinar for your questions. So please put them in the Q&A tab, which is next to the chat. Don't put them in the chat box itself. It's easier for us to manage. And you can also upvote other people's questions in the Q&A box as well. Okay, let me introduce our guest. Lily, she is an SEO and visibility strategist with 20 years experience in B2B and tech. As partner and head of SEO at VertoDigital, she helps brands transition from being Google-centric to having a multi-platform visibility strategy built for AI-driven search, which frankly is what we all need right now. Welcome, Lily. Thank you for giving up your time today and welcome all. Okay, I'm going to hand over to Lily now and I will be back later for the Q&A. Have fun, be good.
Good afternoon, everyone. You hear me, guys? Okay, so I guess you hear me. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks so much for taking the time to spend this afternoon with me. I have spent the last maybe at least 6+ months with trying to figure out everything that has been going on with search and its inclination towards AI search. And I have managed to put together a couple of tactics, tools, techniques with the idea to help out our clients. So I gathered all this knowledge I have put together is something I can share with the community. So here we are in this webinar with our lovely guest from SiteBulb. And we are going to cover this agenda. So I intend to keep it very short and sweet. We will go very briefly into what changed in search, what you need to actually do an audit for AI search visibility, what's included in the process I have put together. And as Jojo said, we will have some time with the audit process and then the Q&A. So first of all, who am I? As Jojo said, I've been doing SEO for quite some time, mostly for US and EU companies in US tech, B2B, and fintech. I have started the so-called AI journey in SEO in 2021. Back then, we are trying to help clients produce content. So we got involved into the content AI platforms like Jasper and Copy AI and WriteSonic. And this is where 2023's like the big eruption of ChatGPT found us. So the focus soon had to be changed to the changing search environment. Mainly, first ChatGPT broke out. I think it was end of 22, beginning of 23, and then May 24, I guess, Google tried to catch up with the Google AI overviews, which probably everybody know back then was quite undercooked, to say the least. But as of a couple of months ago, now both platforms are serving AI-driven results in hundreds of countries, tens of languages, and a billion and a half monthly active users. Shout out to Lily Ray, who's covering Google AI overviews and how they progress pretty handsomely. So if you don't already, please go and follow her on LinkedIn. But what we're left with right now is what I call an environment, a search environment that is multi-platform, answer-centric, and really hard to trust. And with that said, what is even more frustrating is that there are a couple of misunderstandings going on in AI search right now, especially among clients. Their biggest misconception is that the AI search is mostly happening with the LLMs. Actually, Google, turns out, is the place where most of the AI conversation is happening. They say that sending traffic was a necessary evil so far, and obviously the direction they took for not sending so much traffic to publishers and the rest of the web is a direction they're going to keep for the time to come. So that leaves us in a situation where most people are confused. They hear different signals of how urgent AI search visibility is. They are really frustrated if this is yet another SEO hype, or really there's something that's been up. So the easiest thing I found in helping clients and business in general to find their way around is just to do an audit of their current visibility and try to understand, based on the results coming from an audit like that, how urgent transition to AI search is, what it is that they need to do, and how to approach that. So about audit prerequisites, what do you need and what I actually start with before I run anything as audit, as AI visibility audit. So a couple of things. As with any SEO project, you ask input for your client, from your client, about main personas, main use cases. A web crawl with all the text that is public text that lives on the website is a very good idea. If you're only auditing your own website and not a competitor website, you can take advantage of getting the performance data as well with GA4 and the Search Console integrations. A very good explanation of what the client offering is, like product, services, what their leadership team, who these people are, what they do. These are the basis of your branded prompts. And usually clients, like every time, they also have a list of targeted prompts, both branded and non-branded. And if they don't, a lot of the tools out there, the so-called AI analytics tool stack that we all observed that a lot of that companies turned out to be in the last year or so, they also provide that type of information if clients cannot come up with branded and non-branded prompts. And obviously, you can also use synthetic prompts using any of the LLMs, just saying these are the core topics my client is after. These are the personas, the main use cases. and the website, and you can come up with a couple of synthetic, branded and non-branded prompts. 3 to 5 competitors is also something that you should have on the list, so that you build a full client input file that you are going to use in different steps of the audit I'm going to show you. I also put together an example file that you will be able to download once you have the you have the deck. So when it comes to tool stack, again, for this particular audit, I will be using the Google Search Console or SEMrush. In this case, I will be using a brand that I literally haven't heard of before putting this deck together. So I will be using SEMrush, but if you have the first party data for the business, you can also get this data from the Search Console and probably more reliable data. And I will be using Sidebulb for the custom crawl extraction of the public text that we are going to need for the different aspects of the audit. Again, when it comes to AI analytics tooling, I personally am using Rankscale, Peak, and Noah Toa for these particular use cases you see on the right, like for the readiness score, for content to prompt mapping, for citations, for the ecosystem overview, share a voice, and all that type of more AI-specific angles of the content and the audit. But there are many other options on the market, and I'm sure given the use cases, you will find the right vendor for you. And the audit process. But before we start, there is this very, like obviously there are a lot of discussion in the industry in the last year, more than usual. And one of the debates is around, is geo optimization, geo auditing similar or the same as SEO auditing that we know painfully well? There is a debate about it. Everybody has an opinion. I share the opinion of Will Scott, who put it very, very nicely, saying that SEO is GEO is like SEO if people have been doing SEO the right way in the past 20 years. So this is brilliantly said. But besides that, one cannot escape from the feeling that a lot of the tactics and the directions really look like what we know from SEO and what we built as skill set from back then. Like PR is coming back as citations, Bing is coming back like ChatGPT search. Content marketing is back, but this time dressed as AI training data, and we are talking about chunks, not pages now. So it's a lot like that, but kind of emphasizes in the quality more than just doing more in terms of volume, to put it that way. Okay, so the process that I follow is of 7 steps. I've tried to break them down here to give you an overview of what I try to cover. This is by no means extensive. The main idea following this process is more about covering bases that make sense, that we have enough data to work with, and that could mean real impact for the client, more than deep diving into theories and try to not exactly overcomplicate, but overdo on aspects that we don't really know enough of. So this process is a little bit simplified, but I think it covers enough to build an audit with recommendations that really makes difference. So first step is covering defining what are the core topics based on the prompts that have been delivered by the client or built from any of the tooling I already mentioned. Then trying to understand what is the how the content on the website actually covers that desired core topics. Then we try to understand how visible they currently are across the different LLM and AI overviews. Then building the entity strength and NLP frequency. I have it in the form of table, but you can have it in any other way that makes sense. That this entity strength and NLP frequency helps us understand what more we need to build in terms of content if we are about to position ourselves for this particular prompts. To be honest, technical side of the AI search audits is something that at this point I don't see it as a really crucial step of the recommendations coming out of this audit in general. It's simplified a lot from what we know in traditional SEO, but I will show you what I've included in the technical accessibility, in the technical aspect. Citation presence and training data is very interesting step. For me personally, it includes a lot of interesting insights I come up with, and we will finalize the process with how we benchmark against competitors and a couple of suggestions what to start monitoring to make sure you're on top of your visibility in AI. Okay, so as I said, I pick up one company that I never heard of before. Turns out we have very solid NDAs with most of our clients, so I cannot work on them in particular. But here is one very suitable example. This is a US tech brand, very small website. I specifically wanted it to be small for educational purposes. I didn't want to crawl like for hours and hours on end. Not very popular, so we don't have these spikes in visibility based on the authority of the brand alone. B2B SaaS model, and from what I get from the key topics, this is something very similar to Otter.ai or Fathom or something like, or tooling like that. So this would be the sample project we are going to work with. Okay, so first step, putting together the map of targeted prompts to the core topics. What we need to do is we need to understand, do we have enough content to match the targeted prompts from the client input file with the website pages. So this is the website. Something's up with that. And we made a custom content extraction using Sidebulb in this case, setting up the web crawl with the custom extraction, all the content, all the body text content we want to crawl and extract. And when we are done, we do an export with CSV file. Then using the client input file and this crawling data, and I personally used an LLM. No, sorry, I didn't use an LLM at this point, but you can use if it's a more complex, topic-wise. In this case, what I did to build the core topic map is the Google advanced search operators to actually understand what portions of the website are ranking for this particular prompts, or you can use the core topics if you want to drill down on specific pages. The idea is we are building a map that shows us these are the core topics that the client actually wants to cover. These are a breakdown of some of the representative topics per prompts per topic. And these are the actual URLs you can work with to actually present the content to the LLM so that they can be selected and used as an answer, at least summarized, if not directly. So when we have the URLs, which is the main point of the previous step, when we have the pages that we want to work with, we can use, we need to run a page level analysis for each of them. Usually, if you take a look at the table, because the prompts usually are very tied together, most of the pages start to overlap, like one and the same page start to appear for a few different prompts that are similar but not the same. So when you have the final list of pages that you want to work with, you can come up to a tool similar to rank scale, or again, you can use an LLM that help out with it. And a tool like rank scale can actually help you out understand how the content structure and content, or the content chunks, the so-called citations of the content on the page, actually could help out that page be used as an AI result. So what we want to pay attention to in a report like that, the AI search readiness score helps us prioritize the pages. Obviously, the ones that are with lower readiness score would need more work. So the overall score content is one thing we are paying attention to. The second thing is the content quality and relevance. RankScale are doing very good job in highlighting what LLMs consider important in that situation. Something I forgot to mention is that when setting up tools like Peak, RankScale, or NOAA, you already set them up against the prompts you're optimizing for and the competitors that you have in the client list. So this, when you say that this page is relevant to user intent, actually there is a specific prompt they have in mind when it comes to this recommendation. So one thing we pay attention to is the content quality and relevance. Second thing important when you look at report like that on a page level would be the authority and trustworthiness. What I love about this tool is that it gives very specific on-page trustworthiness and authority components for the page, like legal compliance, or you miss testimonials, or you miss company information. Like this is all something that, like company information, for example, could be put in a footer to improve the page, or testimonials could be put on a stage in the design, or anything, or very specific page level recommendation that are quite useful. Not immediately, you still need to design the advice of the design team, but in general, it's a good idea to take a close look on this recommendation. So you need to run this reports on a page level. And also what I like about this particular tool and this particular type of tooling, again, the ones I mentioned before, is that the reports is applicable both to the LLM chatbots and for Google AI overview positioning. Here are the recommendations. One of the options is to analyze each page with rank scale. The second option is you can actually go and build a custom GPT or Gem in Gemini or Claude project and actually run a prompt that you made that you can refine and work with, that helps you, that you ask an LLM for advice how well optimize a certain page. It's a fascinating results you can get from there. Again, I left an example of a prompt, a prompt in a file that you can use to actually run this on your own. Reporting on the visibility, it's probably the most fun people have with these tools. Again, tooling like rank scale, Peak, and NOAA report visibility, mostly on synthetic prompts. I think everybody is already aware of that. Ahrefs actually yesterday mentioned that they now have indexes with actual prompt data. I would follow their posts and their updates on that particular information. But as of now, all LLMs, as far as I know, are using, all the tools similar to rank scale, peak, etc., are using synthetic prompts, unless you give them specific prompts to work with. This all means that that type of tooling is not useful for research of what to optimize for. If your client or your brand or your boss haven't already given you the prompts you want to appear for, the tooling won't tell you what you need to optimize, because the LLM data, the prompt data they have, is actually synthetic. Again, same here for peak. This is the type of reporting you can expect from that type of tooling. But what's interesting here is about the AI. On the AI overview side, you can actually use SEMrush to get an idea what to optimize for. The AI analytics tooling won't tell you or won't enable you to do any research, but SEMrush, I think it was domain report / then you go to organic reporting, and then the SERP feature trends report can give you a very good idea of what to optimize for in terms of AI overviews. If you take a look at the not linking to domain AI overview keywords, you will see all the low-hanging fruit, so to say. Obviously, you need to take a closer look at this almost 3,000 keywords and pick up the ones that you really want to work with, especially if mapped to the pages we already saw in the core topic map. But if you have the AI overviews as what you have potential for, because you appear on the page but you are not the selected AI overview results, you're not in the AI overview as a source, then you can work on the second bucket, on the lower bucket here, and optimize for that to appear as an AI overview. So this is SEMrush is actually the research tool here that can help out with planning new content. So step 4, this is the entity strength and NLP frequency. Here the task is to build an NLP and entity analysis with ChatGPT and Gemini. The main goal is to understand whether the targeted topics actually reflect in the existing web content. So how to do that? To build the prompt, it's pretty easy, I think. Again, I left an example prompt you can use, but that type of tooling is this is an NLP, an entity tool, so to say. The LLM itself is an NLP and entity tooling. So I would say just use a prompt to ask based on the input coming from the website content and the example table. Like I literally say the LLM use this table as an example table to build me an NLP and entity strength analysis based on the input data. And this is the result that you can get, which is quite fascinating. You already have the entity. This is what the LLM does. It goes through the crawling, the text that you crawled with, let's say, Sidebulb. It goes through that, identifies what the entities are, identifies how frequent they appear, what is their relevance to the core topics that you already identified in the client input file, and then it gives you content opportunity or gap suggestions. Many people, I guess, will approach this directly, like try to immediately start thinking about producing content about that. I would advise with people who understand the offering well, people who understand the website well, and in writing content as well, and then decide on what exactly we need to add on the website and in what format before saying that this is our new content plan. So about step 5, the technical readiness. Again, as I mentioned, from my perspective, unless you are a huge publisher website that want to approach LLMs and Google making direct deals, Reddit style, I don't see a reason why a small, medium, or even a little bigger bigger business would decide to keep the content hidden from LLMs and or Google, and disallowing AI bots for crawling actually. But anyway, as part of any audit, it's a good idea just to check if somebody before you had other ideas. One tool that can help out with checking on AI bot accessibility is noatoa.com. Very sweet Canadian guys that build these platforms. What they do is they test if the content of the website is accessible for certain bots. Here are 24 bots that they have, 25 probably, 25 bots that they tested against. Most of them are the AI bots. There are some others in the pictures as well, like the ByteDance's bot or platforms like that. But nevertheless, this is what you can get. It's good to do it just to make sure that, again, somebody before you haven't decided to limit accessibility for AI bots for some reason. Something else that came up like a novelty is the so-called LLMS.txt file. In this particular case for avoma.com, they don't have that file right there. I have been following another discussion on the subject. Do we need that file? Aren't already AI bots smart enough to find their way around without this file, etc., etc.? I would say that right now there are many things that are really black box when it comes to how AI bots access and consume and interpret information. If it's something that is not hurting the visibility, it's better to, and takes like 5 minutes to do it, or something really insignificant in terms of resource, I would say just go and do it rather than debate whether we need it or don't need it. We don't have enough field data right now to decide if it's really impactful or no. And if you decide to go that road, Sonic have a very useful LMS TXT generator you can use to upload. It looks something like this. And same for schema.org. Same conversation, same debate. Do we need to do it or not do it? Aren't AI bots smart enough to recognize the different aspects of the content without using schema? First of all, it's a good idea to audit the schema if it's properly set up in the first place. Then in some cases, context can become very complex, and defining entities and using schema can help quite a lot. So again, if it's not too much trouble, I would audit if it's set up properly and also implemented. So 6, we are approaching the end of the process. Step 6, citation presence and training data inclusion. This is all, for me personally, it's a fascinating step because I see a lot of insight and data about where the clients of the users are actually spending a lot of time, and where are the opportunities to really optimize the presence of in LLMs and AI overviews besides the content chunks that the recommendations provided by rank scale. Right here, we already know that the actual training sets are not public, and we don't have an actual idea of what that data looks like. but we have we can make a pretty decent we can make a pretty decent idea of the whole picture looking at the citations. Or I will emphasize on decent. So one of the tools that is doing really good job when it comes to showing up the sources and the citations from the AI analytics tool stack, this is Peak. Here, what is really valuable for me personally is that I don't not only take a look at how my client is doing, but also it's always in comparison with the visibility of their own competitors, all other websites that are actually that are also using whose content is also used as citations for these prompts. Another way for you to check on the sources that are used for building an answer for the prompts you're targeting is, for example, Perplexity. They provide a breakdown of the sources used to build up an answer. So I would definitely use that. Gemini also can show a breakdown of the thinking process, of what resources, what sources are included in there. They're trying to build up the answer to show you. And finally, number 7 is the competitor benchmarking. Here, the main idea is to set up competitor visibility reports that are going to help you follow the visibility change over time. So the continuous monitoring using AI analytics tools. First of all AI tooling support analyzes against competitors. It shows you the mentions you're getting as well as competitors are getting for certain prompts. And also the main benchmarking KPIs that I would set up in continuous monitoring using AI analytics would be the visibility score, which is an overall, and SEMrush has something similar in their projects, and also the mentions. The mentions are probably becoming the most important currency, so to say, when we measure success of that type of campaigns. Another very interesting conversation and debate to follow would be with the fall of clicks and the changing aspects of the components of the ranking factors, so to say. What would be an interesting measure of success when we're doing campaigns like that? So measurement and reporting when it comes to AI search is also a very interesting conversation to follow. Here is another screenshot. This is another interesting report you can get from that type of tool like Peak. Is it's not just a visibility card of how you are doing and how your competitors are doing, but they also include other players in the field that you might have missed or that might miss in the traditional SEO rankings altogether for whatever reason. Here is another one. Pretty much everybody that is from the AI analytics tool stack, they're also reporting on the visibility and can provide continuous monitoring, which I think is the most valuable information coming out of that tooling. Oops. So a couple of things that I learned now that we went through the whole process with all the 7 steps is that in reality, unless Ahrefs are onto something, no one knows what people are actually typing or saying to an LLM yet, and know what data is included in the training model. So be ready to do a lot of manual checkups. And I have noted, and also there are additional circumstances to complicate the whole process. like extended memory over personalization of the prompts people were using in that type of platforms, as well as the emergence of voice in the prompting. People are talking to the LLMs much more than before, than they were using search engines. So this will change the whole input as we know it, and that we need to monitor, analyze, and try to optimize for. Also, when the situation is that there is a lot of novelty in the field as it is right now, I would be more open to use techniques like, let's put LMS txt file or do a schema.org implementation, more from and try to stay away from let's do it just because we want to do something without knowing if it's really the right thing to do, if it's not hurting the website. Because people usually in that type of situation try to argue and debate and wasting time on things that if they just simply do it, if it's not hurtful, it will show over time if it was impactful or no. And also something else that somebody from LinkedIn suggested a couple of days ago, it's equally informative when doing that type of audits to do an audit like that for you, but also to do pretty much the same thing for your competitors as well. You can get a lot of ideas around how they structure their content. Obviously, where they show up in citation is hugely informative, and you can take advantage of that. And definitely use an AI analytics tool that follows your change in AI visibility in comparison to theirs as benchmark is very informative as well. And that's it.
Am I on the stage? I hope people can hear me. That was awesome. That was really, really, really helpful. So thank you so much, Lily. It doesn't look as though we've got any attendee questions this time. I think everyone is busy digesting all of that juicy AI search auditing information. So we can finish early.
Whoa.
Woohoo! Just digesting. That's what we're saying in the chat. There's been lots I know you've been busy concentrating on your slides, so you won't have seen there's been lots of good there's been lots of applause emojis, lots of heart emojis, and lots of stuff in the chat. Oh my word, we've just got a question in.
Up.
Given the vast array of tools available, what are your top recommendations?
Literally what's on the slide.
Okay.
Like I have been talking to, I think it's definitely double digit, maybe 15 companies since the beginning of the year. They're all suggesting, they all have different approach. What I have noticed is most of those people are actually software developers, became people building software for marketers. Only a couple of them, I'm not mentioning names, but only a couple of them were actually marketing people that understood what we really need when we are using a tool like that. I would say that it's currently very useful that there's so many tools to choose from, because you can build a process for your custom set of clients that you can use a tool from different angles. For example, as I shown on one of the slides, I'm using rank scale to give me the overall score, and also for these very insightful recommendations of on-page optimizations of the content chunks. I'm using Peak because of the citation and the breakdown and the visibility of the whole industry when it comes to the citations. I'm using Know-It-All on the technical side, and they have a very good breakdown of how these different artificial synthetic prompts fit in a marketing funnel. So they're also good in different things. So if you have a process of your own or decide to use mine and just take a look at the use cases, you could easily find at least a couple of suggestions for tools for each use case from different angle you want to cover in your audit.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lily. Please join me, everybody, in saying a huge thank you to Lily for generously giving up her time and so much valuable expertise and workflow process tool stack, everything. That was fantastic. Yep, I'll be emailing out the recording tomorrow to everyone who registered. Don't worry if you missed the start. Next month's webinar is a brand new module in our free JavaScript SEO training course. So if you've done it already, Tori and Sam are going to be back to teach you all about the impact of JavaScript on brand visibility in the era of AI search and what to do about it. So the links for that are in the chat. And I'm just checking. Oh my goodness, we actually do have another question. And seeing as we've got time, how we can potentially answer it, Lily, if you're game.
Of
How
course, I'm all yours.
educated? Yeah, go on. Okay, so how educated, let me put it on the stage, are your clients about all of this? I feel like SEOs need to be the educator on the topic before doing the work.
Oh, this is a very good question. Actually, there are people of all ends of the spectrum, and I'm emphasizing on ends. There are people who, there are clients who are very, most of them tech companies, so they're inclined to be more technical. They do understand. They do understand SEO somewhat, but unfortunately, they're the ones reading the AI search hype news and are all game, just fire and flames. Let's go, let's do it, etc. And they need to be tamed a little bit. Like, you don't really need. Let's start with an audit. Let's see if you actually are so in a hurry you think you are. So this is one end of the spectrum. They kind of know about SEO. Most of them have internal teams. Most of them have at least digital marketing teams. And there are people who are decided to play the Strauss for now. Like, nothing is happening. SEO is SEO. Let's talk Google. I don't
Mm,
want to get bothered. And to be honest, the B2B SaaS niche I'm working with, these are smaller websites, smaller business websites. The huge spikes that scare the industry coming from the publisher websites that most of the SEOs report on are not so huge in B2B. We don't see them that much. And this is a very good excuse for that type of client to say, okay, let's focus on Google, just leave this AI stuff alone. And
mhm,
even AI search audit doesn't sound timely for them. They think there is enough time. They don't even want to know their situation right now, which I think is the healthy thing to do. It's up to you to decide if you're going to move forward with it and go and execute on the recommendation. But at least you need to understand if you're there for your core topics and if your competitors are, if there is an opportunity or something you need to work on your content to actually help yourself. Um, before you execute this 6-month content calendar until the end of 2025 with blog posts.
yeah. Okay. I think there are no more sneaky questions
They
this
can
time.
always reach out
Oh
in
yes,
all the other
where's
ways.
your final slide? Is that a QR code to your LinkedIn or?
Oh yeah, hold on. I totally forgot about it. Yeah, you can obviously reach out to me on LinkedIn, ask any question. That on the templates that I share, there are links for some of the steps with templates and prompts I've built that you can use. Any questions or that or in general, please let them come in.
We do. This is hilarious. I'm loving how like I've already done my like outro and there are more questions coming in. So do you want one more? Let's say it's one more and then no more questions. So Chris says, Chris Lever, LLM traffic is low. Let me put it on the stage. LLM traffic is low, and I hear recommendations for restructuring key organic traffic driving pages. However, I don't hear anyone talking about the risk to organic traffic while that content is reevaluated. Do you agree there is a risk?
Yeah, this is a very good question. LLM traffic is really low, and from what I read, the expectations are that it will be 3 years until the ChatGPT and the LLM traffic, whatever the GPT is in 3 years, will reach, will meet Google in terms of traffic levels. If it happens at all, we don't know, obviously. But the thing is that the most of the AI search action is not happening on the LLM side. And all the process I showed and the tooling that you can use to actually break down how successful you can be is impactful for LLMs as much as for AI overviews. And AI overviews are here already. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think that 25 or 30% of all the traffic, all the search demand share, which is huge number.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not about LLMs. Like this was an AI search audit for AI search, not LLMs. LLMs are still very small. I agree, very
Mm-hmm.
small.
Okay. All right. We are going to wrap up now. That was fantastic. Thanks, guys. Do connect with Lily on LinkedIn, and yeah, if more of these sneaky questions are coming to you late in the day, in the middle of the night, no, don't do it then. But yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody, and we will see you on the next one.
Thanks,
Good.
everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.